Okay, look. I brought it up. So I guess there's really no going back at this point. Katerina was an up and coming, like she was a model. Huh? I mean, you see a picture of her, you'll know. You've probably seen pictures of her, except not all that likely because this was in Russia and not in the main areas, not in Moscow. No, she's from a place near the Ural Mountains. And because she has some features that are likely to be kind of indigenous to the area. You know, Stalin did all this moving around and stuff, and there are all sorts of migrations over time, but there was an indigenous people of that area, and she had some qualities about that, and that is one of the things that made her so special. Even though it makes her look like Audrey Hepburn, it's really amazing how similar she looks to Audrey Hepburn. But she has certain qualities to her face that are of this indigenous area, and because of that, she was beginning to become a model, not just like for, say, fashion and clothing, but I mean that was the main area. That was her main area, but people began to realize her potential as more of a living entity, not just stills. And so she was starting to get roles in some interesting movies that had a lot to do with the history of the Russian people, especially this indigenous, the people that lived in that part of Russia. So she attracted the attention of one of these people who became, a billionaire within a half a year from the time, he had some sort of connections, he had some sort of money, but it was one of these things that happened right during Perestroika when boom, restructuring, whoa, things falling apart, and things were falling apart in her life. She had her husband, boom. He was just worthless, and he just, that didn't work out. She was actually getting this renown. And so she attracted the attention of this man who's actually not a bad guy, except, he was the kind of guy who would be willing to do what you need to do to become a billionaire oligarch in Russia during a time of great change. So in other words, in that part of his life, he was was ready to do it, whatever. He apparently he was not bad to her. He wasn't. But the real problem was that he convinced her to marry him, and she didn't realize what it meant. It really meant to be in prison, because to be married to this guy meant to be a target. And so therefore she had to be accompanied at all times by these big goons, with their things in their ears, and it completely changed her, it completely derailed her from what she was doing. And she definitely grew to regret her decision. One day, though, all of a sudden, out of the clear blue, she was freed. Well, when he called her and he was like out of breath, he said, go right now. Go get the jewels. Well, I suggest you remember that emerald necklace. That's the most valuable thing. And I put that inside you. Figure out that goes inside you. And then put put the cheap stuff on your outside and in your suitcase. That's the one. Get it, put it up put it up somewhere. That's the one. You've got to get it out of the country. Then go and get the passport. You're the one that says Katerina. Okay, that's you from now on. You are Katerina. You are not who you were before. Never again. Maybe I'll see you. Well, he never saw her again. She never saw him again. Nobody ever knew. She actually loved him. He was a nice guy. She understood that all that keeping her hemmed in was for her own protection. But she was happy to be free of it. She never found out. She tried. Some say he got a brand new pair of shoes made of concrete, and that he sleeps with the fishes. But those are, people who watch too much Godfather stuff, The particular methods in central Russia, who knows? So anyway, when I met her, she had to build a whole new life. She had been an English teacher before she had done this, gotten famous, and then gotten to become a prisoner. So when she came here, she became an ESL teacher for children in a very disabled, severely disabled children in this country. Working for a bureaucracy that would put Franz Kafka to shame. Oh, never mind. That's another story. And really, you know what? We don't need to go there. Though if anybody wants to learn what it's like to live in an insane asylum, I would suggest, this is my personal experience, work for the Department of Education.